What up?
Hey girls.
Hey.
It's a hot mic.
Yeah. It picks up everything.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's a hot mic. Ooh. You guys need some sound checks? Oh, okay, yeah.
Projections for the college basketball season?
Oh gosh.
Oh gosh.
I'm just joking.
Okay. I was like,
Thank you for indulging me.
Yeah. No.
I mean, the conferences are so different now too. So
Yeah, Big Ten is insane.
I'm just about to like break it off.
I'm like,
Just now like that.
hey.
Alrighty, thank you everyone for being here today and taking the time out of your morning. We're very, very excited that you are all here. We'll go ahead and get started. So we'll do opening statements from Jeff and head coach Tyler Marsh, and then we'll open it up for questions for everyone afterwards, and then closing. So Jeff, if you want to go ahead and get started, and then we'll go on to coach.
Good morning. First, I want to thank everybody for coming out. It's with a lot of pride and excitement that we're here today to announce Tyler Marsh as the new head coach of the Chicago Sky. We of course want to welcome his wife Kiara, his son Jackson, his parents, and his sister to the Chicago Sky family. In the offseason, we promised our players and our fans that we were going to be extremely intentional and diligent in our coaching search, and I believe today is a culmination of that. Tyler is a born leader. He's a connector. He's a culture creator, and he really brings a wealth of experience from the G League, from the NBA to the WNBA, and really not just experience, but he really played a pivotal and vital role in helping bring championships to those organizations. And the more conversations that Tyler and I had during the process, the more I felt that our values truly aligned. We shared a passion for the game. We shared a passion for this league. And I loved his vision for how he wanted to come here and play and compete. He's a man of high character who cares a lot about people, cares a lot about family, and that matters quite a bit to this organization. And before I hand it over to Tyler for remarks, I want to absolutely thank our very passionate Chicago Sky fans. I heard you, I felt you, we delivered, okay? All right. I want to thank our ownership, Michael Alter, Nadia Rawlinson, John Rogers, Adam Fox, our president. Without them, absolutely none of this is possible. And of course, have to acknowledge the Chicago Sky players that are in attendance today. Mariah, Michaela, and up here with us, Elizabeth and Rachel. So without further ado, Tyler Marsh, head coach of the Chicago Sky.
Thank you all for coming out. I remember when I was a kid and going to church with my dad, and a pastor would open up every sermon and would say, this is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. And I'm not up here to preach to y'all today, but I do want to say that I know a big reason for me being in this position is is backed by my faith in the Lord, so I wanted to give thanks there. So thank you to Sky Ownership. Thank you for the opportunity to lead this franchise, to lead this great sports city. I'm looking forward to settling down and ingratiating myself with the city. Thank you to all the players who are in attendance. It means a great deal to me as well. And thank you to the front office, to Adam, to Jeff. Thank you for your trust and belief that I was the right person for this job. Thank you to the fan base. My wife and I have received so many great welcoming, and we know that we're going to be home here in Chicago. And so she's from Milwaukee, just an hour and a half up the road, and so certainly great for her to be, close to family and friends. So we're looking forward to settling down in the Midwest before the snow and the cold hits. So I want to thank my family who's in attendance. My mom, my dad, they drove from Birmingham, Alabama to be here today. To my sister, Sydney, thank you for being here. Thank you for your support. My 2-year-old Jackson, who y'all will see running around here at some point, I'm sure. And then my wife, Kiara, again. So when we were joking on the plane ride to Chicago, when we met back in 2015, I was coaching for a prep school in North Carolina, and I was making $500 a month, living in a house with 7 or 8 other high school kids. So I know if she stuck with me through that, she's gonna stick with me through everything. So fast forward almost 10 years later, and at that time I was just someone that had goals and dreams of being a head coach, and you fast forward down the line and look to where we are today. I appreciate you being by my side, so love you. Thank you to my agent, Andy Miller, who's also here, for your diligence and your commitment on my behalf. I appreciate you. To my coaching mentors, I've worked alongside and for some great coaches over the years. Of course, Becky Hammond, Nick Nurse, Nate Bjorkgren, Rick Carlisle, Jenny Buchek, Adrian Griffin, all those helped mold me into the coach that I am today. So thank you for your contributions. And then the Las Vegas Aces. I want to thank you for 3 amazing years, from the ownership and Mark Davis to Nikki Fargas, Tanya Holly, Matt Delson, for creating a space for everyone to be themselves, for your commitment to excellence and setting the standard of who we want the league to continue to grow and to be. Thank you to Coach Hammond, to the players, again, for never making work feel like work, for making it fun to come to work every single day, to work alongside, to be able to be part of history and bring the city of Las Vegas back-to-back championships. Certainly memories that I'll never forget, and relationships that'll last a lifetime. So thank you to all in the Las Vegas organization. And again, thank you to all of you for having me here. And couldn't be more excited, couldn't be more blessed to be named the head coach of the Chicago Sky. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Jeff. We'll open it up for questions for all 4. So if you just want to give me like a little hand nod, wave, whatever, we'll go from there.
Hi, Julia Post, Chicago Tribune. Welcome to Chicago. I just wanted to start off with both Jeff and Tyler. Can both of you guys just kind of walk us through what this process looked like, kind of what the timeline was, and what those conversations looked like?
I got it. Yeah, Julia, good to see you. Not much of a timeline. We had a pretty, broad pool of candidates. Had a lot of great conversations. As soon as Tyler and I started talking, there was pretty immediate synergy, and those conversations, were accelerated kind of quickly. Got him into town, and the rest is history.
Yeah, if you know Jeff, he comes in hot. So he was very intentional about letting me know how bad he wanted me to be part of this organization, and that went a long way for me. We connected on our values of how we believe people should be treated, and then that kind of transcended into how we view the game. And so, but when you put people first, that makes a lot of difference, and that had a lasting impact on me in this process.
Tyler, Annie Costable, Chicago Sun-Times, second row. Opportunity, a lot of taking the right opportunity is about being aligned with it, and you obviously have championship experience at every level, but have not been a head coach at the pro level yet. What was it about this opportunity that aligned with you and made you feel like this was the right moment to take that jump?
Yeah, I was very transparent throughout the interview process with both the Aces and other teams that I've interviewed with. And I made it clear that for me to take this next step, it would have to be the right fit. It would have to feel right. I was fully prepared to walk away from any situation that didn't feel like the right one because I was so happy in Vegas and enjoyed who I was around and who I was working with. But through conversations with Sky ownership, through conversations with Jeff, this felt like the right place to be. Again, we aligned on the values again of what meant the most to us and building a family atmosphere, and I wanted to be part of that. And then you look to the basketball side and the young talent that we have here and how we can continue to build and move forward. You see the trajectory of where the league is going, and I think Chicago is in a perfect position to be part of that and to kind of continue to set the trend of where the W is moving forward to in terms of how we're playing. And so everything kind of came together, and this seemed like the perfect match and the perfect fit for me in the right time to take this jump. So.
Hey, Coach Marsh, Carly Bell, Marquee Sports Network. Nice to meet you and welcome to the city of Chicago. Obviously, your whole background is in player development. You got a lot of recognition for developing Jackie Young this past season. And when you look at the development that's still here on the Sky with the rookies in both Angel and Camilla, what is kind of your game plan on how you want to elevate their offensive games while still keeping their defensive integrity in line?
Yeah, I think, first I've been able to see and experience basketball at virtually every level, college, high school, WNBA, G League, NBA. And so when you're around that many leagues and you've taken on so many positions, it's not just player development that becomes part of who you are and part of my makeup. It's time in the video room. It's time creating scouting reports. So it's certainly a little bit of a well-roundedness there. I think to answer your question specifically, we want Camilla and Angel to be good at what they do already. We want to continue to highlight their strengths. We also want to continue to improve and figure out ways where they can score easily or they can still be effective defensively. I think it's important to understand, though, that even though that they're kind of the cornerstones of this franchise, that championship teams are won 1 through 12. Everyone has a huge part to play. Everyone has value. Everybody brings value. It doesn't matter how many minutes you play. If you look at our championship team with the Aces, you take someone like a Sidney Colson who could go stretches throughout a season without playing that many games and then comes in the finals in Game 4 and makes a huge contribution there. You look at this past finals with Minnesota, and every game is somebody different. With New York, every game is somebody different. And so that's what we want to create here with Chicago. We want everybody to know their importance, everybody to know their value and how they can contribute to a winning franchise.
Coach Marsh, good morning and welcome to Chicago. Brian T, Chicago State of Mind Sports. So hoops and obviously coaching is in your DNA. I just wanted to hear from you how your dad has had an impact on your coaching journey.
Yeah, he's been a college coach my entire life, and so I've been around him and been to a few of his introductory press conferences. So now having the shoe on the other foot is kind of cool. But for me, he just taught me how to be a man of faith in this coaching profession and how to make an impact on young people's lives. And that got me into coaching. That's what kind of continues to fuel me now, and putting the person first and the player second. I think that once you've connected to the individual, the basketball stuff comes easy. So that's what he taught me. I continue to see people he's coached 10, 20, not to age him, but 10, 20, 30 years ago, still speak to how much of an impact he's made on their lives. And so that's kind of the trajectory that I want to go in my coaching career as well.
This is Alyssa Hirsch from the Next. Coach, just to follow up on your dad, I was listening to an interview with him, and he was saying that his coaching style is very defensive minded.
Yeah.
That's where he's at. But he kind of suggested that you're a little bit different and that you're a little more creative, maybe a little bit more focused on the offensive end. I was just curious if you feel like that's true and kind of talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, we argue about that all the time. Those days of 50 and 60-point games that he's used to, yeah, those days are over with. We want to score, and we want to score a lot. And so, no, it's a good back and forth that we have every now and then. Obviously, the importance of defense, and he's, I lean on him a lot in terms of my acumen and from a defensive standpoint. And so he watches every game, has all the time, whether I was in the G League or whether I was in the NBA and now in the W. He watches every game, and we talk about it, we analyze it. I talk to him on the way home. And so he's certainly been a huge support system from that standpoint.
For Elizabeth and Rachel, you guys have both experienced a lot of change with the Sky, whether it was coming in mid-season or going through multiple coaching changes. Just what has stuck out to you guys in early conversations with Tyler about what kind of this next era or identity of Chicago Sky basketball is going to look like?
Yeah, I think we're really excited to have him here. I think obviously he comes in with a lot of experience, but he also comes in with the mindset of creating a certain culture, and I think he's been intentional about communicating with us. And I think the basketball stuff will come, but essentially, when you're trying to reestablish what things will look like, I think he's great for the job. So just looking forward to getting to know him more and seeing how his integrity kind of translates to us and how we want to look.
I would say, in my first conversation with Tyler, he was super authentic, and I love that. And I told him right away, I'm a culture kid. I believe in culture on a team is super important. And that was something that he spoke on too. And my second thing was player development for our young rookies. And I said, I'm not going to be here forever, but I really want this organization to grow into a top contender. And that's could be with Angel and Camille. And I'm like, their ability to grow is so high, and I know that's something that he can do and what he's been doing in his career. So that was something super important, and it aligned perfectly.
Tyler, congrats right here, second row. Josh Friedman with WGN TV.
Thank you.
The ladies were just talking about the culture, and you've been a part of so many winning organizations. What to you makes a winning culture? What defines that, and what do you hope to make the Sky? How do you hope to make the Sky into that?
Sure. The championship teams that I've been a part of have an elite level of professionalism, an elite level of selflessness and accountability, and that's how we want to be here. That's what we want to bring. We want to have the right balance of passion. We want to have the right balance of work ethic. We want to be able to take and receive criticism, be able to give it in a positive way. We want to speak life into one another. I think those are huge characteristics, and I think what you see is the teams who are left standing at the end of the year are the ones who are the most connected off the court. If you're connected off the court, you'll be connected on the court, and so that's kind of the landscape of what we want to create here in Chicago, and something that will allow us moving forward.
First question for the players. This league is obviously tight-knit. You guys all talk team to team. I'm curious what your conversations were with your peers, your colleagues across the league about who Tyler is and what kind of got you excited about him coming here.
Yeah, for me, I actually texted Sydney Colson. She's one of my favorite people. Obviously, everybody knows she's hilarious. And I texted her. I was like, so what's your thoughts on this guy, Tyler? Because I don't know if anyone saw her tweet. She was hilarious. I know you saw them. And she's like, he's awesome. That's my guy. He is such a good dude, and he gets the job done. She had so much good stuff to say about him, and I trust her so much. And yeah, so I was really excited about that, and she had your back. So
Appreciate it.
yeah.
Yeah, when I met or my first conversation with Rachel, she gives me a lot of Sydney Colson vibes. Our first conversation, she was like, "Man, Coach, I really don't want to cut this conversation off short, but I got to get ready for the Usher concert tonight." and so I was like, "Oh, no problem. I just want to introduce myself. I understand. My wife and I, we went to Usher a few months ago. We get it. We understand." And then she's like, "Yeah, I got to lock in, but I did go. I went last night also." So locking in for something you just went to is pretty crazy. But I appreciate everyone that I've spoke to player-wise. I appreciate their transparency and their openness, and I'm looking forward to continuing to build relationships with them.
And then Tyler, a follow-up for you. You obviously have this championship experience, a championship resume, but you've also worked for franchises both in the W and in the NBA that are top tier in terms of the way that they're run as organizations. I'm curious in your initial conversations what you feel like is important in terms of implementing here to make sure that that standard exists here as well.
Yeah, I think that it's only upwards here for the league, and I think that if you're one of the last few franchise standing in terms of adapting to where this league is going, you're behind the gun, so to speak. And so I think that for us, we want to set trends. We want to be ahead of the curve. We want to continue to care for our players and put forth the best resources possible so that they're the most successful and the best versions of themselves that they can be. It's all about winning, but it's all about improving and being better. And I think that it's about the players first and foremost. And so whatever we can do to provide the right type of atmosphere for them to be as great as they are, I think that's what we need to do.
Jeff, this one's for you. I remember when you got hired, listening to you in interviews talk about your vision, and I think it was really centered around like defense, toughness, wanting competitive players, and I'm curious how that vision has evolved, you know, now with somebody new at the helm.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. We still want to be that team. We want to be the toughest team on the court. You want teams to feel us right away when the game starts. We want to have the most grit. I think the teams that play the hardest typically last the longest. So in our initial conversations, that type of stuff came up as far as the dynamics and the vision, the philosophy for how we wanted to compete. But yeah, we want to be able to guard because everybody out there is pretty good now.
Head Coach Marsh, over here, there you go. I know obviously coaching staff decisions on who you want to bring in are a ways away, but when Becky Hammond spoke about you, she said that you were someone that she trusted kind of in the foxhole and was there for you. What are kind of the traits that you want to see in the coaching staff that you want to bring in, especially with this huge focus on player development and also making sure the resources are there for veteran players as well?
Yeah, the word that keeps coming up is selflessness. You're going to hear me say that a lot, and that doesn't just apply to our players, that applies to our staff as well. We got to be an egoless staff where we collectively put the players first, that we're a united front once we go out. Until we may disagree when it's just us, but once we go out into the court, when we're presenting game plans to the players, any times that we're out in front of in the public, we want to be a unified front. We want to be together. We want to be in this together. And so selflessness, having a serving mindset, again, being there for each other, not being above the fray, and being willing to do the little things that make a big difference.
And then to just kind of follow up on that, one of the other things that Becky Hammond said about you is that there's a lot of power in your quietness and there's a lot of power in your calmness that's there. And Elizabeth Williams is someone who also got that praise last year. How do you kind of want to rely on your veteran presence, especially someone like Ewell, who has 10 years in the W, in helping establish yourself as a first-year head coach in the WNBA?
Yeah, that's kind of who I am. I think that balance is important, and I want our team to be able to, there's ups and downs of the season, ups and downs of a game, and I want our team to be able to look over to the side and know that their coach is in it, that their coach is present, that you never see me too high or too low, and so we weather the storms together, and I want that to translate onto them as well. So I'll be leaning on our veteran leadership to provide that kind of calmness as well in the locker room, especially when I'm not around, and so we can just kind of be even keel. We can, turn it up when we need to, and we can pull it back when we need to.
What are the biggest off-season priorities for both of you? Obviously busy with draft lottery, everything kind of coming up. Just what are both of your biggest priorities for this off-season?
Yeah, I think we got a checklist. We'll take one at a time. We've got the draft lottery coming up, and then we got the expansion drafts, then we got free agency. We're in the infancy of a lot of these conversations, but there are multiple conversations, we have every day. We've got a lot of work to do, but, to me, it's been the most fun part of bringing Tyler in is how like-minded we are and how we see the game so similarly. So those conversations have been great.
Any other follow-ups? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Coach.
Shooting. We want shooting. And lots of it. I told Rachel and Michaela in our first conversations, when you have it, I want you to feel the confidence of letting it ride. And that goes for everyone. Liz, we're going to get you shooting some threes too. So, yeah, we want to add some we got some pieces that we're going to look to add and continue to build around the core that we already have intact moving forward. And so I'm looking forward to that.
2026 is a minute away, but we know that the league is set to experience, overhaul by that time, considering expansion and the CBA expiring and a lot of you guys set to become unrestricted free agents. I'm curious how that adds kind of pressure to this year in 2025, but also, sets you up to really have a blank slate again in 2026, and if that was something you were excited about too when taking this position at this moment.
Yeah, I think having a young core certainly helps that, but I think more importantly than anything, we want to be present into this current year coming up, and we want to do what we can to make Chicago a winning franchise in 2025. and we want to set the tone for what's to be expected moving forward. We have those expectations placed upon us. We're not running from that, and we just want to continue to improve. And that starts with, again, being in the moment and doing what we can in 2025, and then we'll let 2026 take care of itself when we get there.
One more for Jeff. I know this is before you were put into place, but it's hard not to think back to about a year ago when Teresa Weatherspoon was introduced here. The Copper was also up here. Obviously, that didn't work out, but what gives you the most confidence that this is a track that will lead to better results and the process has changed?
We are real committed to Tyler. He's about relationships, and I don't think it was necessarily about what wasn't happening last season, but it's more what Tyler's bringing to us now that makes us feel so confident. The background, player development, the philosophy, and to me, I think it's a very rare combination that you can have someone that excels so much in the player development arena, but is actually even more wired to be a head coach and have those instincts. And it's a pretty incredible combination. He's got a lot of weapons at his disposal, and I think people are going to be very excited to come here and play.
Alrighty, that's it. Thank you so much. Thank you, Rachel, Elizabeth, Coach, and Jeff for being here. You all for being here today. We'll do a quick photo op, and we'll end with that. There's refreshments, sodas, anything for you guys to enjoy. So thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.